This is a life.
The elephant. Elephants are useful friends equipped with handles at both ends. They have a wrinkled, moth-proof hide. Their teeth are upside down outside. If you think the elephant preposterous, you've probably never seen a rhinoceros. Well, we made it to our next campground. It's been a long few days, a really emotional few days with deciding to pull out of the apple farm, and it's just been emotional. And then to have the mishap with the tire and getting stuck in the mud, and we're still working on getting that tire repaired, but all in all, I think we're very blessed, and I'm so thankful that we've been able to be on this journey. I'm excited to keep going. I'm excited to see what else is out there for land. I feel like when we started this journey, I really, really wanted to find land, but I also really, really wanted to travel. Love the idea of traveling, just seeing new things, going new places, and I really figured it would be, a good 6-9 months, maybe even a year until we actually found a property. Spring at least. I figured we'd travel, look at some things, then take some time to just travel over the winter in the warmer states and come back to it in the spring. So I was a little overwhelmed by finding a place so soon because while exciting as it was, I wasn't quite ready to stop traveling. So I'm excited to keep traveling. We are still looking at land. We are going kind of backtracking. We're going to go back to Idaho and start looking again there, since we really did love it there. And there was one property that we want to see again and see if it still holds for us the specialness it did the first time we looked at it. I'd like to still look and see if there's other places that might fit our bill in Idaho. We also thought about going back to Colorado and looking, but really Colorado was so expensive. I don't know. Idaho is more expensive than Wisconsin, but Colorado was so expensive. And I haven't really taken the time to look in places like Utah or Arizona. I think we decided we do like the drier states, even though you have to really worry about the water. I just feel like the climate's probably a better fit for our family. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see where our travels take us. But for now, Shabbat Shalom. The sound is not always coming through on this, and it's frustrating. Bummer.
You don't know till you're done.
I know, that's the stupid part. Anyway, today we are going through South Dakota. And yeah, that's where we are.
South Dakota.
Again, we're heading west, away from Wisconsin, where we were. Last night we stayed in Adrian, Minnesota.
That's right.
Yeah. At the municipal park there, they have a little campground. Wasn't too expensive, full hookups. That was nice.
That's nice. Good playgrounds.
Yeah, good playgrounds for the kids. They spent all of Shabbat basically at the playground. Got a little laundry done while we were there.
They had a cool life-size chest where the chess pieces were like.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Pretty big.
We are heading through South Dakota now. It's been really rainy, I guess, the last few days or week or so. I think like a week ago there was a tornado here that came through. But it's been really crazy weather, I guess, because actually there was flooding on the highway that we passed over a little bit ago. Yeah. I think at one point over the weekend the highway was closed. So I'm glad that we are a little bit behind that and to get stuck in it, because we probably would have had to just sit and wait it out
bought this drugstore in Wall, South Dakota.
South Dakota, that's right.
And it was incredibly unsuccessful. And his wife eventually came up with the idea to put up a road sign that just said free ice water.
Yeah.
And now it's $1 million industry.
It was like in the 30s, wasn't it? 1931, I think, something like
I
that.
can't remember.
And it drew people
It drew
in.
people in, and he said by the time he got back from putting up the signs, they were out of ice.
Wow.
And so you should read his story online. It's really fascinating. But it's kind of cool because it kind of inspires us to figure out what people want and try to provide that as a service.
Yeah.
And draw them in.
And think outside the box of what we would maybe consider traditional ways to earn money,
Right.
or ways to advertise or whatever, but just being able to be creative in what you do, and that's kind of inspiring for us, yeah.
Free ice water.
Free ice
They
water.
still have free ice water.
They still do, and I'm thinking I saw a sign that said 5-cent coffee.
Sure.
Yeah. So we may have to grab some of that. But that's one of the stops we're going to hopefully head to tonight.
Mount Rushmore in a couple days.
Mount Rushmore, yeah.
We'll see Crazy Horse.
Yeah. We're going to spend a couple days there because we do have our national parks pass, and while we are looking for land and feeling like the winter is creeping up on us, part of this is to have an adventure as well. And then we'll keep heading west.
Today we're here at the Crazy Horse Monument, and it's behind me. It's a work in progress, and it will be beyond my lifetime. The thing that's remarkable to me about a place like this is that there are people who are willing to embark upon projects that they know they'll never see the completion of. And that inspires me in some weird way. I think a lot about the adventure that we're on and the vision of the life that we're trying to build, and that's a big part of it. I want to build something that lives past me. You know, I'm okay, and I've always been okay with the idea of earning a living and making income and letting my children inherit some of that. But what's much more inspiring to me is to actually build something that will live past my lifetime, and this place is a reminder of that vision. It's going to be probably into my grandchildren's lifetime before it's finished, and it may be never finished. But it's a remarkable undertaking. It's a beautiful piece of art, and I think it's just a really cool statement about what you can accomplish if enough people will get behind it and you have patience. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's 12:03. Good afternoon.
I guess it is afternoon. Well, we left South Dakota, the Black Hills of South Dakota, and actually we're entering the Black Hills of Wyoming, which I didn't think was a thing, but apparently it's a thing. Yeah. We are traveling from the South Dakota area. We went to Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, Bear Country, kind of explored that area.
You know what Bear Country is? Everybody just know what Bear Country is.
Oh, we didn't really talk about Bear Country, but Bear Country is kind of a preserve, a park of some sort, where you actually drive through and then the animals roam free, and it says please stay in your cages because the animals roam free here. And
it's pretty cool.
It's
everywhere.
really cool. They walk across the road. Sometimes the bears are laying in the middle of the road and you have to drive around them because they won't move. There were wolves, bears, elk, and they all are in separate paddocks, which have cattle guards and mountain lions. But when you drive through, you have to keep your windows up, and
A lot of bears.
a lot of bears.
We had to stop for caribou
Yeah.
and a wolf. What else crossed? Oh, bears crossed.
Bears crossed in front of us. Well, and it's mating season, and so all the boys are in rut, and they would like chase each other around. Like the wolves, we watched them, and they were looking for each other. And one wolf was obviously the lesser of the wolves, and the other wolves were kind of chasing him. And there's a smaller area that you just walk around, and they had coyotes, and there was one coyote that was picking on the other coyote. And kind of establishing his dominancy. So it was kind of fun to see the animals that up close.
Baby black
And
bears.
baby bears, they were really cute. And they were climbing a tree, that was really cute. Anyway, it's kind of a neat attraction to do in that area, just because the animals are right next to your car and you can see them up close in a way that you can't anywhere else. Even in Yellowstone, when you can see the animals, they're usually far off. And that's why
us a neat, fun activity to do.
So today, heading west.
We're heading west, but we're heading a little bit north in Wyoming. We're going to Devil's Tower in Wyoming. It won't be a long stop. We'll just go. I'm going to make our lunch. We'll look at it, and we'll keep going. Mostly because we're being really boring. We made it into Idaho. We were going to stay at Hayburn State Park, which if you watched a couple videos ago, you see that we stayed here before. We got there and they're closed for the season. So we kind of went across the street. There was a private RV park, which is really somebody's land that they let people stay on, which is fine. There's no internet service here. Our phones don't get service. And so the biggest thing right now that we're back in Idaho is researching more properties.
More properties.
And doing the research on the counties and what the regulations are and all that. So without having internet, we can't do that. Without having our phone service, it doesn't work. So what we're doing is moving. We found another little RV park down the hill in St. Mary's, Idaho. And we drove there yesterday just to see if our phones worked, and they do. So we're moving. Yeah, but first we're gonna go into town. We need to do laundry. It's been, I don't know, a week or two.
17 weeks.
No, not really. We just need to get that done today. A little business, and then hopefully we'll also do some business eventually today of, we actually got permission to go back on property, which you may have seen a few videos back when we were in this area, and it's still in the market and we're still interested. So we're doing the research in the county of building codes, zoning, all that kind of stuff. So we need to go to like City Hall and so that we understand going into this before we make an offer on a property what we're getting into if we're to build and live in this county.
It's one of the scariest things is what happens if we buy a place and then we learn later that we can't build the things we want to build on it. And we want to build kind of primitive buildings, small buildings, with composting toilets and very little water use. So it's a little unusual to the county.
They don't always know what to do with us. I think this county is looking pretty promising, but we still want to look at other properties because we don't want it to be like, hey, we found this property 2 months ago, and because nothing else has worked out, we're just going to go back to it. So while we are checking it out today, we also plan to look at some other things in this area, and maybe up north, in the Panhandle a little more as well. We spent the last 2 days kind of going around northern Idaho, Bonner County, and we've been kind of discouraged. I mean, building in Bonner County was easier, so to speak. We just ended up having 3 properties we were excited about seeing, and 2 of them had houses on them. And when we called our realtor to get him to set us appointments, he said they were under contract, which keeps happening. Honey, this keeps happening, and it's just frustrating because then the things that we can go and see, we either can't get to or are just not great pieces of land, and it's becoming disheartening. So we were all thinking we'd have this fun day in Spokane today and just kind of shake off the stress, and we woke up this morning to the news saying that there was a major snowstorm coming in.
History-making storm, they say.
Yeah, historically significant, and never had a blizzard this early since 1934.
Up to 3 feet of snow predicted.
Yeah, over northern Idaho and western Montana. So we decided that our camper was not really blizzard ready and that we would move over to Spokane, because in Spokane it's supposed to be a little rainy.
It's a little little rainy.
And it's a little rainy. But it's not snowing and it's not blizzarding, and so we can handle that.
Spokane is only an hour from where we were, which is crazy.
But
very different weather pattern.
What has happened is we've spent the day trying to do some errands that we needed done anyway. We had a package delivered here that we knew we were going to come pick up. But between getting different into different parking lots and running over curbs and
So small.
then apparently sitting in front of the grocery store and having the battery die. So here we are, and we have not gotten to any of the fun things we were supposed to do today.
3 o'clock.
We don't actually know where we're staying tonight, and part of the problem is this was spur of the moment.
We weren't supposed to be here tonight. We were going to still be in Idaho.
Still be in Idaho.
We had a storm.
Yeah, we had to move. So,
we're not really afraid of snow, but we've not been in this camper in snow, and we haven't been in this state in snow, and it's so we chickened out and we left the state. What do you need, baby?
We need pumpkins.
Pumpkins? Oh. I hope
they have pumpkins there. So at this point, what we're doing, even so I called a harvest host, which we love, harvest hosts. We've had a really good time when we've done that. And so we heard from another lady who was staying at the farm we just left in Idaho, another boondocker. That was through Boondocker's Welcome. Well, she said, what else do you use? And I said, harvest host. And she said, well, you got to go to this place in Washington. It's near Spokane, and it's a U-Pick farm. And she had just stayed there this last week. So we thought, how fun. So I called them, and I didn't get an answer. But hopefully I've been waiting for them. Well, they also just are a U-Pick farm. So we decided, what fun today, to go to a U-Pick farm while we're in Spokane, pick some fruit, get some jellies, some pies, and then while we're there, we'll ask them if we can stay. Now, the risk in that is that they might already be booked and we can't stay. What we do know is there are places like truck stops and Conegos. I will also try a couple more campgrounds, just to make sure. So we're heading out. It is raining now. Hopefully it won't rain too long and we can actually do the U-Pick farm. That would be really fun.
I'll pick in the rain.
You pick in the rain?
Sunshine, ice, whatever. It's a little wet.
A little bit.
What's out here, man?
I know. I was like, oh my gosh.
My box over
Where did
there.
you get those?
I have more.
Yellow
Just put them in the box, yeah.
or the yellows were grafted on?
Pretty good.
Because these leaves are different, aren't they?
It seems the rain's getting heavier and heavier and heavier.
I feel like you can reach that one, but really want it, right? You don't want apples?
Maybe a few apples.
We're a little tired of apples.
Break the hitch
No
before we get
slowing
stuck
down.
If the hitch breaks, we're leaving the trailer there.
After getting stuck last week, we're so nervous. We were going to stay at the Harvest Host, and so we showed up, and I didn't video much of the apple picking, just a tiny bit, because it was pouring rain,
Oh, man.
which it was only just barely sprinkling when we showed up. And then they said we could totally stay, but after we picked and it was totally raining, we said, yeah, there's no way, because of getting stuck last week, we're afraid of it. It's completely muddy out there, and it's not very flat, so, and it would just be a nightmare to get out of, and to call a tow truck in to get us out of if we had to. Even though it looks like clear skies are coming, it's just too wet. So we're gonna go see what else we can find.
So about 20 years ago, I started a family tradition which states that on the first snow of the year, no matter what, we'll have hot cocoa. So we're in Spokane, Washington tonight. It's the 28th of September, and it looks like snow, but since Deanna has lived in Colorado the longest, we always let her decide. So let's see what she says. What do you think? Snow or no snow?
Looks like snow to me.
Ah, hot cocoa!
I try. I'm not sure.
What time is it?
Showtime.
Hi guys.